Hi, I'm here with 3 stitches. Well, 2 of them at least. The oldest, Miranda, is enjoying summer camp right now, and we decided to have fun ourselves, so we're going to talk about the amazing new Quattro 2. Do you know that the Quattro 2 was rated #1 by Consumer Digest magazine over all other sewing and embroidery machines in the top model category? That is unprecedented. In fact, the one thing they really focused on was the technology called a Novi. That's a built-in camera that makes embroidery positioning a breeze. In fact, what it does, embroidery positioning usually takes 30 minutes, but it brings it down to 5 minutes with perfection. It does that using the camera and the snowman.
But Daddy, it's summer, the snowman will melt.
Well, it's a different type of snowman. Let's show you how it works.
The snowman is simply a target sticker. The small circle on the top here is the top of the design. The center dot is the center of the design. It's no different than presently right now with your embroidery machine. You have to mark the center and position of your embroidery. The difficult thing with your machine, you have to hoop it straight. Now, I'm going to use this as an example. I have it on striped fabric for a reason, so you can see if I hoop it crooked or not. And so what I'm going to do is place this in this hoop at an angle. Now, I know you can hoop better than this, but this gives you an example of how easy this is now with a Novi. Now I've placed the hoop in the machine. As you see, the snowman sticker's there with the striped fabric for reference. Now let's come to the screen here, and I have put in Bianca's name there in a block font, and right on the screen you see the snowman's symbol. So I press that symbol and it has me scan for that target sticker, that snowman sticker. And now once the camera finds it, you'll see it puts a red line around the target. This is like GPS for embroidery. And what this did is it actually rotated the design 324 degrees, moved it and positioned it perfectly placed so that now that design is going to stitch out right on that target. So it doesn't matter if I hoop it straight or not. So let's see how it turned out. I'm going to remove the sticker. Press go. Now look how even Bianca's name is in relation to the stripes. It would be almost impossible to do this with a regular machine. But because of the Quattro 2's Embroidery technology, you can now have perfect placement of your embroidery every single time. Another new feature that has been added to the Quattro 2 sewing and embroidery machine is scan capture. Now the Novi by itself with the snowman sticker is great, but what if I need to see my design and see the size of the design in relation to, in this case, a block? Now if you, in the past, what you've done is you've stitched out a design and tried to line it up. If you have software, you print out a template, it becomes very difficult. And again, placement is an issue, and you see that I hooped this crooked for a reason. Now watch what happens with scan capture. On the screen you see I've chosen a certain design to place inside that quilt block. Now scan capture allows me to take a picture of my entire embroidery area. I simply press this icon right here, and a Novi now turns into a scanner and it scans the entire hoop. Now you see the exact representation of my embroidery hoop on the screen. Now because of this high definition screen, I see it in real color and real size. I can see that my design is way too big. See, I can move it on the screen and position it, and it's way too big for my block. And this brings up another feature that's amazing on this new Quattro 2 machine. I can actually take a design and I can size it, and it will recalculate the stitches so that I have the same quality regardless of the size and density of the design. I can even change the density if you have a design that's too dense. What you see here is the very same design that was on the screen, stitched out in actual size. You see the stitch quality is awesome. Now, the problem is, what if I want to make it smaller? Well, if you just simply size a design down, all you're doing is scrunching up all those stitches. With this new sizing feature, you can size it 60% smaller, and that is any design you import in and most that are built in. And so that's 60% smaller, but also the stitch count has been reduced. You can also enlarge a design. Here you see that same design enlarged 200%, but yet the stitch quality is outstanding because it added stitches. It maintained the same density. Now, some designs are way too dense. Some don't have enough stitches. They're not dense enough. This advanced feature also allows you to add density or decrease it. No other machine has the same capability as the Brother Quattro 2. Now that I can see that this design is too big for the center block, I simply press the size icon, and this symbol allows me to use that advanced sizing feature I just showed you. And what it's going to do is recalculate the whole makeup of that design, allowing me in this case to reduce the design down to the size that I want. And it also reduced the stitches. Now I can see that it's the right size for my block. Now that I have the right size selected, I can rotate it or move it in position. And so with this feature where I can scan my project, what I see is what I get for exact positioning. It's so much easier now to make a whole embroidery scene because you see it on the high definition screen. There's also another feature that will allow you to see different color schemes. And I'm going to have my favorite 7-year-old help me show that to you.
One of the advanced features of the Quattro 2 is the exclusive color shuffle feature. Color shuffle allows you to see your embroidery design in all different types of color schemes, so you can pick colors before you sew them out with the thread, and they'll match it better with your fabric. In fact, the Quattro 2 has the most high definition color touchscreen on the market, and it really enhances your whole embroidery experience. Juliana is going to help us show this feature called Color Shuffle. As you can see on the high definition screen, we have the design that we chose earlier as well as the fabric we scanned. So let's go ahead and close out of this screen and select the color tablet and go to color shuffling. Now here we have 4 options: random, vivid, soft, choose gradient. Gradient is going to give me colors that blend together, and each page has 6 options I can choose from. Go ahead and refresh. I can choose up to 10 pages, and I can come back to each one of those designs until I get it just right. Go ahead and press refresh. And I think I like the bottom right. What do you think, Jules?
I guess we can try it.
Very good. Well, that looks better, but let's go ahead and set that against the fabric. Go ahead and press set, and let's zoom in right there. And press plus. Let's really zoom in. So now you can see it against the fabric. That's going to blend much better. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
Okay, but let's change the color of the stem. So go ahead and close out of there. Choose color tablet again. And choose green, like a darker green, right there, yeah? And then press plus, right over here, and choose a lighter green. Now zoom in on that, and go closer. Now you can see that really looks nice. Isn't that great?
Oh. Yes.
Now, this really enhances your embroidery experience. And now, before you even sew, you can see in real life color what your embroidery is going to look like. Another award-winning feature on the Quattro 2 is guided sewing using the built-in camera, a Novi. Now on the screen you see a camera view of the foot and needle where you place your fabric. And I've cut a piece of fabric here, and I've cut it on a curve as an example. And so what I can do is I can simply place under the foot my fabric, and as I see the seam allowance, it appears on the screen to the setting that I want. And I can select 1/4 inch in this case, but I can select up to 1.5 inches and go even smaller, like 1/8 of an inch. But once I select that, all I need to do is press go. Now, I'm not going to use my hands here. I'm actually going to take this here, and I'm going to sew without using my hands, let the machine do all the guiding. And what you're going to see is the machine is going to move the needle positioning and the feeding, so it always gives the perfect seam allowance that was selected, in this case 1/4 inch. So imagine how much more comfortable you're going to be when you know the machine's going to compensate for your errors and seams. Now if you're quilting, that's important. Now you can relax and be a better quilter, a better sewer. This is what this technology gives you, and this is why the Quattro 2 was rated #1 for the 2nd time in a row as the top model sewing and embroidery machine.
I think you can see that this Quattro 2 is quite an amazing machine. We have an exciting opportunity for you. Right now, during Brothers Sale event, you can purchase this machine and pay in 48 months interest-free on approval of your credit. This makes this machine much more affordable than ever before. And August 1st through 4th, at the Long Beach Convention Center, we have the International Quilt Show, and I will be there in person. Come and see me at booth 1327, and I will make you a deal you cannot refuse.